In this video, we're going to discuss the theory behind developing dashboards for communicating data. Then, in the subsequent video, we will actually create a dashboard. Now that we've learned about various types of charts and tools like sparklines and data bars for making visualizations, we can start to think about how we make these visualizations the most effective that they can be in order to clearly communicate a message. In order to do that, you need to make sure your visualizations have appropriate design. There are a number of tips to help you do this. The first one we're going to look at is to make your charts easy to read by adding titles and labels. In order to do this, there are a number of things you have to consider, such as using accurate titles and labels to tell the audience what the visualization is about. This means do not use the defaults in Excel. You have to make your own titles. Also, whenever possible, you should make titles short and clear. You should make sure the font is easy to read, not something in like cursive or a font that is very hard to read. And you can use fonts of different sizes and colors to highlight important information. The second key point is to remove clutter and eliminate distractions. This can include removing borders from the chart area, removing grid lines or making sure they are very thin and light, using data markers only for the most important information and putting the marker directly on the data, and leveraging consistent color. That means making sure your labels are in the same color as the data to help pull out important information. Finally, you can make visualizations as effective as possible by highlighting the most important data using three key traits: position, size, and color. Position means you should put the most important information first or group similar information together. Size means you can make more important information larger, and color means you should highlight the most important information using meaningful colors. To show you examples of all these three things, if we start with a chart that is poorly designed, we can see how to make it better. For example, this chart has a lot going on. Its point is that women begin shopping earlier for the Christmas holidays than men do. But you can't clearly see that point, and it's also very, very hard to read what any of these percentages are because of the 3D, the grid lines cluttering your view, and the very compressed text. So there are lots of ways we can make this better by following our steps. First, we want to make sure the titles are easy to read and remove clutter. So we get rid of the 3D, we get rid of the grid lines. Something else we can do is make sure that we remove the bevel effect. That was kind of giving it more of a 3D appearance as well. The chart had both a y-axis and data labels. You don't need both. So since the bars are labeled, you don't need the y-axis to tell you the percentages. I've also made sure that the data labels are located directly within the bar to help make it really, really easy to show which labels go with which data. Something else we do after that is make sure the color and the titles clearly represent your story. So instead of just calling the chart "Shoppers Begin Shopping for Holidays," clearly make the point apparent. Women start their holiday shopping earlier than men. We put this in a lot better font, and we've used color, so pink for women and gray for men, so that the women clearly stand out that they're beginning earlier. Something else that's important in this chart is that it's before the holiday rush. So in September and October, where women are shopping a lot more than men, whereas when we get close to Christmas, like December, then it's men shopping a lot more than women. So we've put the point we want to highlight, that women begin earlier, in the darker pink, and then when women get passed by men, we put that in the lighter pink color. Also, some other points are that we've made sure that we've kind of shortened the labels on the x-axis so they can all appear under the bars they represent. And we've also made the data labels only whole numbers so that they can clearly fit. So all of these points are meant to make the chart easier to read, which you can clearly see has a direct effect on what you take away from the chart and clearly communicating the message. So all of these three tips are essential for making sure you make very clear charts. We take this to a next step by developing dashboards. Dashboards are visualization tools where you put together multiple visualizations in order to convey key business information that can eventually be used to make decisions. Dashboards should be dynamic, which means they change when the data is updated. In order to decide what information should be included in your dashboard, in order to clearly convey a message related to relevant business information, you need to stop and ask yourself, what is the point of making this dashboard? That's the why behind making the dashboard before you do anything else. Once you know what questions you're attempting to answer or what business information you really need, then you can start to think about what to include in your dashboard. Dashboards can contain statistics like counts, sums, averages, standard deviations, maximum minimums, or basically any individual calculations. They can include tables like basic frequency tables that count, two-way tables that count by two categories, or other types of pivot tables like ones that find the averages or standard deviations for groups of variables. Dashboards usually always contain charts like pie charts, column or bar charts, histograms, line charts, scatter charts, or combination charts. They can also include other tools like slicers to filter data, spark lines as your mini chart, and data bars if you have tables of information to kind of also serve as a mini chart. And labels like text and icons help to make your dashboards very clear. We are going to create an example dashboard together for our quarterly budget data that answers 3 questions. What types of transactions is your money being spent on? When is money being spent? And where can we save money? Please watch the next video for developing this dashboard.